Okay, I think we have 2+2. Let's start. Again, good morning, good afternoon or evening, depending on where you are joining us from. And thank you and welcome to GenTwo webinar on GenTwo Pro for banks. My name is Manuel Hollinger. I'm a senior investment solution sales here at GenTwo. I'm responsible for our GenTwo Pro for banks product line, and I'm excited to guide you through to today's session. At the moment, I see more than 20 attendees online. I'm glad to see that interest is as high as I have expected. So thank you very much for joining. We have done several webinars also in the past about GenTwo Pro and about structured investment solutions with different underlying liquid, illiquid, and digital assets. And we also plan to produce many more in the future. Today, we're going to focus on our brand new AMC platform for banks. The agenda starts with a brief overview of GenTwo's business and the vision that drives and motivates us. This is especially for those viewers who don't know GenTwo that well yet. And if you have any questions throughout the session, feel free to add your questions in the Q&A box, and we will go through each of them at the end of the presentation. Explain what drives us. Let me start with Warren Buffett, a man we all know. He said, invest in what you understand. I think we all know this quote quite well. At GenTwo, we say, invest in what you believe. And with GenTwo Pro for banks, we go one better. And it should be as easy as booking a flight. Let's start with a few numbers about GenTwo. GenTwo has been around for 6 years. So here in the timeline starting in 2018. In these years, GenTwo has had a strong and very stable growth to 3.9 billion in assets under service today, and we have launched since then over 1,400 products. In the pie chart at the top right, you can see how the assets are distributed across the 3 product types offered. With the AMC, which is the main focus in case of GenTwo Pro for banks, making up the majority. The pie chart below shows the breakdown by market type, with liquid products making up the majority, followed by illiquid, and the 8% slice with digital assets. What is very important for us, it's about a growing ecosystem. GenTwo is kind of embedded in a growing ecosystem where we select the best partners in the market. You can see here a few logos of those companies we are partnering or which we are working very close with. And who are our clients? The vast majority are still asset managers and family offices, as you can see on the right side among the title client structure in the pie chart. They are followed by banks, brokers, and stock exchanges. And lastly, we do also serve some private market companies. I thought it's a good idea to quickly repeat what is about what is an actively managed certificate. I assume that most of you know exactly what an AMC is. That's why I just repeat the most important points here. An AMC, or an actively managed certificate, is kind of a fund-like financial instrument where client funds are pooled in a structure to be managed as a portfolio. One advantage that can arise with an AMC is the efficient implementation of an investment strategy. That's why I have chosen the first attribute, efficient. Instead of implementing a strategy in a large number of individual managed accounts opened with different banks, this can be done in a single account for all clients. Investors simply purchase the ISIN via their house bank and thereby reflect the strategy of the asset managers. So very efficient, especially for the asset manager. Instead of logging into many different trading tools from different custodian or banks, he can just work with one single broker custodian where he uses one single trading tool, makes his life much, much easier. Then AMCs are very adaptable, even during the lifetime of the product. Although AMCs are regulated, they are not bound by such a tight corset as it is the case of in case of a collective investment or an investment fund. The third positive characteristic I've chosen is security. This is given by the fact that all AMCs from GenTwo are off balance sheet. There is no issuer risk, there is no credit risk, which is a big advantage. And again, don't forget, if anything is unclear and you have any questions, don't hesitate to place them in the Q&A box, and we will go through each of your questions at the end of the presentation. Oh, let me jump to the next slide. Introducing GenTwo for banks. So as a bank and partner of GenTwo, you get actually access to our front end called GenTwo Pro for banks. The orders for structuring a new AMC are sent via the front end. This is done in a very simple 5-step process, which I will come to later. In addition, all workflows are managed directly in the tool, such as corporate action, subscriptions, redemptions, or any other kind of flows or payments. It also gives you the possibility to monitor your products. And to manage directly in the tool, such as corporate actions, as I said, subscriptions, redemptions. In terms of valuation and performance, you have also the possibility to see all your products which are already issued on the dashboard. You can click on those products and then you have the full view of the performance. You can also download data from the history, performance data from the history. It gives you kind of full control over all the products you have already issued in the past. The front end is compatible with for desktop computers, tablets, and mobile phones, and is web-based, so you can easily log in from wherever you are. Then each AMC receives its own ISIN, a Swiss ISIN, which is published on 6. This is done by GenTwo. So we're going to publish the ISIN or the product for you on 6. The underlying can be liquid instrument as well as digital assets, such as Bitcoin or Ethereum or Ether. Many providers on the market, especially banks, are limited in terms of underlying instruments. And so it's good to know that having an AMC from GenTwo, there are no limitations. This may be the limitations may be for technical reasons. It can also be, or the challenges can also be, or come from the treasury in management, the balance sheet. And since we are talking about off-balance sheet AMCs, we don't face those kinds of challenges. And if you want to use a specific instrument in your portfolio, but you can't do this in your trading, then thanks to the open architecture we have, that could be done by a third-party broker, which you are already working with. We could easily plug in this broker, and then you could add some instruments or asset classes like digital assets to your portfolio, and you can trade those instruments through a third-party broker. As mentioned at the beginning, simplicity is a key criteria when we are working on our offering in general. This enables a high degree of flexibility, and at the same time leads to low costs from which you as a bank benefit directly. For example, we have not defined a minimum investment, or you as a bank can connect directly to your own custody and trading services. So this is again part of what we call the open architecture. We are able to offer AMCs at the lowest price on the market. The costs, 5 basis points based on the assets booked in the AMC, plus a fix 5,000 Swissy per year. Those costs are charged directly to the product, meaning the platform itself, GenTwo Pro for banks, for you as a bank, is totally free of charge. Another important point in terms of costs is the low integration cost. On the technical side, all you have to do as a bank is setting up a data feed so that we at GenTwo can evaluate your AMCs. This is done either via an SFTP server where the end-of-day files are made available for us, or we do establish a connection via API. And then another point, which is very important, especially for you as a bank, is the cost of capital. That can be a major cost item when AMCs are issued on the bank's own balance sheet. Thanks to our off-balance sheet solution, these are completely eliminated, and the AMCs are considered as so-called capital light. And finally, and this is actually a core element and a perfect example of simplicity, the 5-step process from the product idea to the publication of the ISIN at 6. As mentioned, I will come to that a bit later, because this is actually an element where we have to dive a bit more deep. Advantages for your business. Of course, there are many advantages for your business. In addition to the simplicity and the many advantages on the cost side, as a bank, you can also create major benefits for your business. By offering AMCs, you can expand your product shelf with an extremely attractive product, which is, in my opinion, a must in today's external asset management business in particular. And since you, as a bank, are part of the value chain and you do also contribute to it, you can build a markup into the product setup and thereby tap into an additional revenue stream, which is extremely interesting. At the end of the accounting period, this will be reflected in the return on assets, which is very welcome for both the relationship manager and the bank. In addition to the higher return on assets, the share of wallet can be increased, as assets can be also attracted from other banks via an AMC. Under certain circumstances, this can massively increase the asset base, as I have already seen in the past, especially if you enter the market with the most cost-effective solution from GenTwo that is also unlimited in terms of the underlying. You will most probably seen in the market, and there is a huge possibility and to attract additional assets. It is an offering that belongs on every EAM desk, and the first ones will be the winners. If you as a bank issue your AMC via our platform, you will be onboarded with us as a broker and custodian. This has, and this is a very attractive side effect, you will be then be listed as broker custodian within GenTwo Pro. GenTwo Pro is the tool which is used by asset managers, which are issuing AMCs directly with us. And of course, they need a broker custodian. And then in such case, you can be chosen as the broker custodian, which would generate not only additional assets, but only additional revenues, being chosen as the broker for the portfolio booked within the AMC. Then let's talk a bit about the easy 5-step product creation. I already mentioned it several times. As I said, it's a very key element, the easy 5-step product creation. This refers to the request for a new AMC via the front end of GenTwo Pro for banks. So if you log into your front end, you can easily click on new product creation, and then you will get onto an online form. We call it the structuring request form, or SRF, where you then lead through the 5 steps. It starts actually with an investment strategy or another investment idea based on liquid or digital instruments. And this should be managed or implemented within an AMC. So you log in online and you go to the corresponding menu. You can use then the online form, and you enter all the product parameters, and you give the AMC your own name. Most of the points during the 5 steps are given by drop-down menus that avoids fat finger or any other mistakes or typos, and makes it much easier. You can go through also much faster. And just to give you some examples of the product parameters I mentioned, there it's about, for example, the product currency. You enter the total investment quantity, the subscription end date. So you are deciding the time window of the subscription period, and all those kinds of parameters. This is up to you, and you can define them directly in the online form. What is also determined is the fee structure. In other words, which fees are charged by the EAM, so your client, such as a setup fee or a management fee or a performance fee. So many kinds of fees are possible. At the end, all the fees then are made transparent in the term sheet. What is further defined is the strategy. As an example, you define the range of asset allocation and any other restrictions, such as short selling. And then once everything has been recorded, the system generates a draft term sheet. And once you have checked it and approved it, you will receive the final version immediately. And after that, your ISIN will be generated and published on 6. This process takes no longer than 30 minutes. It sounds a bit crazy, but it's true. We do generate an AMC within 30 minutes until it's published on 6. And after those 30 minutes, you are basically able to offer the product to your clients, who then can subscribe to the ISIN via their house bank. We have achieved this speed by automating all processes and building a kind of a low-touch setup. The beauty of it all is that your work is already done. Well, we will take care of everything else, the entire lifecycle management, the calculation of the NAV and its publication, corporate actions, etc., are all handled by GenTwo. In other words, we take care of all the administrative work that we all love so much. Nevertheless, you keep control of all events, authorize subscriptions and redemptions and other payment transactions, and have an overview of all issue products and their performance. As mentioned at the beginning when we were talking about the front end you get. A very central slide is this one. And now it gets a bit more technical. It's about the description of the product segregation setup. The orange box in the middle, PowerPoint, I think it's called gold, but to me it looks like orange. This is actually the Swiss issuer. This Swiss issuer was founded for GenTwo Pro for banks. It's a Swiss stock corporation called Swiss Assetization. And on the left, in the color lavender, it is the bank. So it's actually you as a potential client or partner. You act as a broker and custodian. And as already mentioned, if specific investment instruments cannot be executed by your own trading, an additional broker can be attached, for example, for digital assets. So we are not limited to one single broker. We can add also a third-party broker if it's needed or if it's necessary to cover all the instruments or asset classes which are needed to build up the target portfolio. Then in the middle, the three black boxes, which are unlimited in number, by the way. Here we have just seen shown 3. Those 3 black boxes represent the AMCs, or the so-called compartments. These are segregated, quite similar to a Guernsey or Cayman Island setup, which some of you most probably will already know. The difference is that these are contractually segregated. In Switzerland, company law does not offer the possibility of segregation by law, which is why we have solved this in this way. And at the bottom are the various investors or clients who are going to invest in the individual AMCs via their house banks. I hope this is so far clear how this setup looks out. As I said, please put your questions down and we will have a look at it after the presentation. it can be even more technical. As already mentioned, every bank using GenTwo Pro for Banks is at the same time onboarded as broker custodian. And in this regard, we have some basic technical requirements. I just want to go through quickly, but this is really an important part you should think about. That's why I have it included in the presentation. The first point is about positions. We need those positions to do the valuation. What is needed is the value of the total value of the portfolio, the end of day cash positions in product currency, and the end of day value of the portfolio, but then excluded cash. You can see here all those data about the positions we can receive via the API, or then alternatively, we can also set up a connectivity via the SFTP server, where Gen2 is going to pick up the end of day files each morning. It should be ready latest by 7 o'clock in the morning. And just to be on time when it's about publishing the actual NAVs of the AMCs. Then there is then it's about cash movements, which are extremely important, as they have to be in some cases included manually in the valuation. All the fields and information we need are listed there. Those files are usually also exchanged via the SFTP, and there it's about a CSV file. And thirdly, we need a read-only e-banking assets to all accounts. We need this to gain access to holdings in the past, because in some cases we simply need data from the past to do our calculations, and also to create the track record, or to make all the history, all the data from history available for you to be downloaded directly from the front end. What you can see here is just scan the QR code. Through that, you land on our website, and there you can see a few very nice examples of AMCs we have structured in the past. And if you want to talk about those examples, or if you want to know more about, just feel free to reach out to me. So thank you so much for walking through our GenTwo Pro for Banks presentation with me. We will now go through some of the questions we have received throughout the session. And again, if you have any question or anything is unclear, feel free to add them. Or, of course, you can also reach out to me at any time later. Yeah, I got it. Thank you. So we have the first question. You can't see it, so I will read the questions before I try to answer them. The first question is, how long does the entire process typically take from onboarding to issuing the first AMC? So when it's about onboarding, the onboarding of a bank as a broker custodian, I would say this is quite straightforward. Usually it doesn't take more than 2 to 3 weeks, because this is something we are used to, and most probably also you as a bank. In most cases, all the necessary documentation is well prepared, and it's just about exchanging everything. And we will, of course, do a due diligence on the material we have received. But then the connectivity via SFTP or also API, this is usually also done very quickly, but because this is more of a routine. And then, of course, it's about opening an account of the Swiss issuer, the Swiss Assetization Limited. This is then the account where all the assets are booked and traded within the AMC. So this onboarding is in most cases also done quite quickly, because it's about a Swiss company. The KYC is not that complicated. On our end, the full documentation is well prepared. So you will receive everything from our legal department. So I assume the onboarding of the Swiss assetization, that shouldn't be shouldn't take longer than 1 or 2 weeks. And then the issuing itself of the AMC, you have seen it. It takes around 30 minutes. So this is really then done very quickly. Then the second question we have received: what kind of support or training do you provide new users of the platform? That's a very good question. So first of all, let me tell you that the platform is it's from the look and feel, it's very easy, it's very well done, so it's very much self-explaining. But however, what I want to do is anyway, during a next or an upcoming webinar, we want to do a demo session where you can see or where you can learn about the front end, where I would like to guide you through all the features and tools, and also through the ESRF, where you can request a new AMCs. But other from that, of course, we can do easily a training session with also internally within your bank, where we can train all the persons or the employees who are going to use the front end in the future. But as I said, it's really nice looking and easy to navigate. Then another question. What makes GenTwo Pro for banks different from other AMC platforms available on the market? So I would say, when it comes to differentiation, it's mainly about this easy 5-step process. This is unique in the market. Also, the time to market of 30 minutes, this is also unique. And I think that's one of the main differentiations we do have. And of course, the platform itself gives you, as I explained during the presentation, the full control of your products, which are already live. It gives you the possibility to monitor all the products, to keep control on incoming subscriptions, incoming redemptions, and everything. So the goal, and that was my statement right at the beginning, we really try to make things easy. All the hassle we had in the past, we want to eliminate that. We want to offer you a tool. We want to offer you a service which is very much easy, which makes your life easy, which makes your work easy. And this is something we clearly see as a big differentiator between our competitors. Yeah, I see one last question coming in. Are there any other companies with a similar offering that you see as a competitor? What makes GenTwo stand out? So that's quite a similar question to the last one. Of course, there are other companies offering AMCs. There are also companies offering off-balance sheet AMCs. I would say one big difference is that we are almost not limited. I already mentioned it several times. It's mainly about also the underlyings, especially banks which are offering AMCs. They are somehow limited when it comes to the underlying. There we have no limitations. And even if it's about an illiquid assets, then we are not talking about the platform for banks anymore. But if you, as a bank, have the idea to issue an AMC based on illiquid assets, we of course able to do that. You have seen it in one of the first slides when I was presenting GenTwo, that we have a lot of products having private equity or private debt as underlyings, which are in most cases illiquid underlyings. Of course, time to market is a bit different then, because we have to do all the due diligence work on the private equity company as such, but also on the investors. So it's a bit more time consuming, but however, we can manage that, and we are able to issue also AMCs based on illiquid assets. So that I would consider as one of the main differentiators between us and our competitors. So I don't see any further questions. So if other questions are coming up, feel free to reach out to me. Feel also free to book me if you want to have a meeting within your bank. I'm happy to visit you and we can go through all the topics again. I can also show you the platform, or just wait until our next webinar where we will have a demo session of the tool. And yeah, I'm happy to meet you all. And with that, again, thank you very much for joining. It was a pleasure. And yeah, I hope to see you soon in a meeting. And I wish you a great afternoon, and I hope to see you soon again. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.